Hi guys, welcome back to a slightly wet October morning. Welcome back to the BMW Guy channel, and today we're going to be discussing what it's like to drive diesels and why I chose a diesel. So obviously we've got the diesel 120D, it's a 2007 M Sport 1 Series, and then we've also got the X320D 2019, I think it's an SE. So we've also got the GTE, but that's a bit of an exception because it's a hybrid. But yeah, so today I'm going to be discussing why I drive a diesel, what it's like to drive a diesel, and whether you guys should drive a diesel. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So I bought this car about 18 months ago. It had around 80,000 miles on it. It's now got 99,000 miles on it. So I've done a fair bit of driving on it in just that period of time, and it was my first diesel car. So I came from a 180 brake horsepower Mazda MX-5 Sport. Had a few bits done on it just to raise it up that 20 bhp, which was a lot of fun, but I found that I was actually spending quite a bit of money on fuel, believe it or not. So I found this, which is essentially the same performance, 180 brake, although mine's slightly higher due to a factory or sort of a dealer fit option pack. So essentially I got the same, if not more performance, but able to do 44 miles per gallon instead of 23. So that for me was a major plus, because I was almost halving the money that I was having to spend on fuel. Essentially, because I do so many miles, it made a massive difference, quite clearly. This one as well, this is used for long journeys. So I think, well, we've had it since July and it's already on 7,000 miles. So it's essentially used for motorway commutes, etc. So it's a nice big comfy car for that. Yeah, this currently is getting around 46 mpg. It's 190 brake horsepower, and this, like I said, is 44 mpg, about 200 horsepower. So it's a nice little figure. I might go inside now to explain why I drive this car, because it's getting a bit wet. But essentially, the reason I enjoy driving a diesel is because it gets so much low end shove, sort of in any gear. So obviously, because it's a turbo diesel, torque is the main priority of this car. It doesn't rev too high, it revs to about 5,000 rpm, same with this car here. If you like, they're pretty much the same story, because they're pretty much the same engine. This has just got a newer version of that engine in it. So what I find is actually, even to unlock the power, etc., you really don't have to try that hard. It just shoves you straight away in the back, in any gear. If you drop it down into thirds, you've got a nice bit of horsepower as well. So essentially the way it works is your torque is your first bit that you feel when you put the accelerator down, and your horsepower is how fast it feels towards the end of the rev range. It's just a quick simple breakdown. And this car, the peak torque is right at the bottom of the rev range, and the peak horsepower is right at the top, so it's really nicely balanced throughout, which really does mean that you can have a nice performing car for very little effort really, and quite low consumption. I'm just going to pop inside quickly into the car so that we don't get too soaked. So yeah, basically one of the reasons I bought this car was mainly down to the fuel mileage being so excellent. It actually smells of Indian because I transported a takeaway in here last night. But yeah, so as you can see, it only revs maximum to 5,000 rpm. But what this does mean with the low fuel economy is that I can get up to 600 miles range on one tank of fuel, which for me is quite a nice thing, because actually you don't have to fill up as often. I was in the petrol station with my MX-5 almost bi-weekly. I'm sorry, no, not bi-weekly, bi-daily. So it was nearly every 2 days with my commute. So this has definitely made a big difference, having this car. In terms of what diesel is like to drive, like I said, you get all the torque down low, but it's also the other bits. So like, due to the fact that it's so torquey, manoeuvring it, etc., in first and reverse and second gear and all that sort of stuff is so much more simple, because essentially you don't need to put in any throttle whatsoever. The car will just pull itself almost chuck like a tractor, which for me just makes life easier because we've got a hilly drive, etc. So in my MX, I prefer my MX-5 was all right, but in my Polo before that, which is a 1.4 petrol, it would stall going up that driveway on its clutch. So it's a massive bonus really to have a diesel that will just chug around really. Also, you've got increased towing capacity with a diesel. Sort of increased reliability as well. There's less to go wrong in terms of ignition system. You've essentially got a glow plug, which provides just enough spark, and then it relies on the compression of the piston to actually cause the combustion within the engine. So there's definitely bonuses there as well. But also it's the tunability of these cars. So you may have seen on my previous video, I explained sort of my power mods video. I explained essentially how to boost the power on a diesel or any car, but mainly focused on diesel. And essentially it's really easy. It's you just need to increase fuel flow and air, and the colder air the better, to equal more power. It's as simple as that. You can do that through intakes, you can do it through new intercoolers, etc. And it's just basically make the car breathe easier and you'll get more power. It's fairly simple with all cars. And another part of these vehicles is that they're very, very receptive to remapping. So they're quite dialed down due to the emissions issue that is allegedly around diesels, although this does far less emissions than most petrols at the time. And so the remappability means that you could quite easily get another 50 brake horsepower and 50 Newton meters out of this stock engine for about 400 quid. So definitely very versatile and nice to tune engine. So yeah, it's just a quick video, guys, explaining why I like diesels. It was a bit mumbly, but yeah, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what fuel type your BMW uses, or if you're a diesel person. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.